The two most common questions that I get asked about the podcast is, when is Corey Neal, the president, coming on? And when are you going to be interviewed? We want to hear from you. So this season is part of we're doing both of those. And then also as I was sitting down with the team and the team's like, we have to do this. Great. Who would interview us? And they're like, your wife has to do it. So
I love it.
Here you are.
Welcome to Money Market, a Bank of Tampa podcast. We highlight the businesses, expert advice, local economy, and points of interest in the Tampa Bay market. Follow us on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And make sure that you like, follow, subscribe, and share this episode with a friend or colleague. Now, today's episode is a little different because the voice you're used to hearing, he's not behind the mic today. He's in the hot seat. This is the Owen episode. I'm Jessica Muroff, Owen's wife, yes, but also CEO of United Way Suncoast, a community leader who spent the last 2 decades building partnerships, leading purpose-driven organizations, and working to strengthen the Tampa Bay region. And while Owen here is the steady voice of the money market, he's also an accomplished leader in the banking industry with over 20 years of experience in the Tampa Bay market. He currently serves as the Pinellas County Market President for the Bank of Tampa, where he leads strategy, commercial real estate, and marketing. He also serves as the 2025 chair of the St. Petersburg Chamber of Commerce Board of Governors. He holds leadership roles with Neighborhood Lending Partners, the St. Pete Free Clinic, St. Pete EDC, and more. He's a Leadership Tampa alumni, a past NAIOP chapter president, and a 2016 Tampa Bay Business Journal 40 Under 40 honoree. So yes, he's a trusted voice in Tampa Bay business community and the man that I once very publicly called the sexiest man alive.
You did. Thank you.
Which for the record, I stand by.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt and The Rock may feel differently about that. But I also want, if I could, just share with everybody why we're doing this. So the two most common questions that I get asked about the podcast is, when is Corey Neal, the president, coming on? And when are you going to be interviewed? We want to hear from you. So this season is part of we're doing both of those. So, and then also as I was sitting down with the team and the team's like, we have to do this. And I'm like, great. Who would interview us? And they're like, your wife has to do it. So
I love it.
Here you are. Thank you.
No, thank you. I'm excited to flip the script.
All right.
And the mic and ask you the questions.
Feels weird sitting over here.
Well, let's get to it.
All right. Yeah.
So we're going to start where it all began. The Money Market podcast, the idea, the voice, the vision. So how did the Money Market come to be?
It came about, I was asked to take responsibility for marketing and was trying to play with some different ideas of, what we could do. And one of the things that we tried a number of things, but one was just short form, organic, vertical video. So we did a handful of videos with some of our bankers that they were all fine. They weren't bad, but I don't know. I was looking for something a little more polished, a little better. I thought I could do it better myself.
And I'm like,
thanks. I'm like, put me on camera. So I did it, and I'm like, well, that's not very good either. So anyway, I was having a conversation with Wes Lowry, who does a lot of our production work, and telling him kind of the story. And I'm like, hey, what about podcasts? How does I have a lot of interesting people that I come in contact with every day. It would be cool to highlight some of their stories, a lot of clients, some of our bankers. And he's like, absolutely, I could do it for you. So that's kind of how it came to be. And then just to know the team behind it, like Steven and Sarah, Paul, they've got a great team that put all this together that make it look good and make it shiny and sound good. So, thanks to them and the team.
It's been awesome. I've loved listening. So how do you decide who makes a great guest, and what kinds of stories or insights are you most passionate about surfacing for your listeners? It's
a bank podcast, right? So try to be business oriented, but also want it to be entertaining and provide value and keep people coming back, drive some traffic. But it is a commitment. So want to make sure that people get some value from it. We kind of start from the framework. Okay, are they a client? Are they attached to the bank in some way that we can highlight or showcase the great work that our clients are doing in the community? We get our bankers involved. Then it's also, is this something of interest to the Tampa Bay market? And then, every once in a while, we've got people that will approach us that, they want to come on the podcast. And if they've got a good story to tell or they got a good following, that's kind of the final lens.
And you've interviewed a lot of really fascinating, intriguing leaders. And who has surprised you the most?
You're my favorite.
Oh my goodness. Who has surprised you the most? I appreciate that though.
Surprised me the most. So Ashley Butler, Ice Cold Air. So Ashley was, and I don't know if surprise is the right word, because she did a video testimonial for us. She was a client. So I did get to see her in action, but she was intense in a good way. I mean, she just had great energy, extremely intelligent, a lot of good quotes, referenced a lot of books. And that was actually, I mean, it was kind of at the end of the day and I was tired and was not probably on my game. I don't think anybody really noticed except for me. But she was amazing. Also surprising, again, I don't know that surprising is necessarily the right word, but, Andrew Wright, Andrew he's an intense, really intelligent guy, very successful. I really enjoyed the conversation with him, and his story actually got a lot of attention and traction in the community. Yeah, I guess those two probably stand out.
And with all of those stories, insights, sharing, what is the one thing you've learned personally from all of this?
It's more validation. So relationships have come up so often on the podcast of how important those are to people's successes and just getting things done in the community. And that's actually, and I say it every time they say it, but that's our mission at the Bank of Tampa is we build relationships.
That's awesome. Now that we've explored the Money Market podcast from the outside, let's take a look at behind the scenes and behind the mic.
Okay.
Yes, you are. You're not just a host. What?
We're getting personal?
We are getting personal. You're not just a host, a banker, commercial real estate expert. You're also a great partner, a great dad, a great leader in our community. And it's really shaped by, our life together. So, how has a relationship with somebody who leads in the nonprofit sector, shaped what you think about purpose or balance in life?
So I want to start on balance, maybe. That might be a little easier because I think what people struggle with is it's not balance. We call it work-life balance, and that's become a very kind of trite, popular, cliche thing. I think it's critical thinking and choosing, it's prioritizing and having the ability to prioritize. Because we have so many different choices and it's hard. And you get pulled, with all the things that we do in the community and as parents, you get pulled in a million different directions and you need to really prioritize and say, okay, what's important to me? And there are things that are probably, on the importance scale, this one's an 8, this one's a 7, it's a 7.5. I don't have time to do the 7.5. And so which one, I need to do the 8, I got to do the 10. So I think that balance, that terminology is, I'm becoming more bothered by it. Everybody's talking about work-life balance. There is none. Purpose, I think what's been interesting to see, and you mentioned, if I heard you correctly, nonprofit specifically. So if that's, I am in a for-profit world. So my purpose is largely, although, there are startup companies and people who don't have money and great means, they have the ability to put together a business or expand their business. And, I help them accomplish their dreams, accomplish their goals financially. Whereas you're coming from it and people who have like really basic fundamental needs, like the whole Alice, and what's the acronym stand for? Sorry.
Asset limited, income constrained, employed.
Yes, but people, so paycheck to paycheck.
Yes.
It's almost 50% of the people in our community.
Yes.
And that's like, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. That's basic food, shelter. I heard the statistic that there are record levels of people who have to go to food lines and food banks. And there's also record level of people that are buying Broadway tickets. And so just the income disparity, and to a certain degree, like we represent both of those worlds. Like I am dealing with the people who have tremendous means and capital, and you are solving, some of the most fundamental problems in the community.
Yes. I love that. So let's shift to your professional journey because you're not just the host of this great podcast. You're also certainly not just a banker. You are an expert in the financial sector, a commercial real estate expert, a key part of this organization that has really shaped the Tampa Bay region over the past many decades. So many of your guests know you that way, but not all of your listeners will. So let's unpack your path, your perspective, and the kind of leadership that you bring to the table, because I think it's really outstanding. So how did you get into banking, and more specifically, what drew you to commercial real estate as your area of focus?
How did I get into banking? I think how most bankers get into banking, except for the Bank of Tampa founder, Jerry Divers, who wanted to be a banker. Most bankers, unless you're a Wall Street banker, I mean, if you're an investment banker, you have a very clear path. This is what I want to do. I want to be on Wall Street. Most other bankers find themselves as a teller in college, or they did an internship somewhere, or, I mean, as a profession, bankers find themselves in banking, and 10 years they look back and they're like, oh, I guess I'm a banker. That was a little bit of my path. Like, I wanted to be a doctor my entire life. I got to college, did a hard pivot. And I don't know why it took my whole life. I mean, I just got impatient. And then I sat there and I'm like, okay, I'm going to be 30 before I have a real job. Like, not acceptable. I need to make some money. I need to make it quickly. Was, interested went to school like in the 90s. So the .com craze. So the market was going crazy. I thought that was really sexy and fun. So I got my degree in finance with an emphasis in equity investment. Mark actually had a job at Morgan Stanley. The market tanked as I was graduating. Someone suggested banking. So I ended up getting into banking, and don't want to belabor the whole story, but I just, especially when you're not familiar with the industry, you think okay, big banks. Mm-hmm. So I was interviewing, I put my application in all the big banks. Bank of America at the time and SunTrust were kind of the two banks that still had a great training program. Never got a call back from SunTrust, but got a call back from Bank of America, and had an interview and thought it went extremely well. But I was a little too myopic in my view, and said, they send you to Charlotte for 18 months. It's a tremendous training program. I mean, Bank of America does a great job of training people. They were going to then stick you in any geography they needed you in with any opening that they needed. And I'm like, well, I want to be in Tampa and I don't want to do retail. And they're like, well, you can put that as your preference, but no guarantees. So I'm like, that's not for me. So I ended up taking a job in the credit department at a local community bank that all the bankers there were all refugees from a big bank. So I got kind of that training that they got. Mm-hmm. So I had no idea at the time how beneficial and important that would be to my career. But shout out to Sue Williams and Doug Tuttle, who were great mentors. And then the real estate, where that came from, is Wade Faircloth, who's another bank president in town. So Wade was a real estate guy at South Trust Bank that had gone over to this particular community bank that I started at. When I got moved into a lending role, I would bring in opportunities for operating companies. And I quickly realized that Wade was a lot more comfortable with commercial real estate. Those opportunities were a lot easier to get done, as well as they were a lot bigger. Mm. And I'm like, I could meet my goal quicker and with less headache if I just do commercial real estate. So I think by the time that ended up being about 70% of my book, the bank was acquired. I ended up leaving banking to try to do some commercial real estate development for 18 months. Got back into, just wasn't a great situation. Got back into banking right before the market crashed. And so my background is primarily in when I came back to banking, it was with a real estate specialty, mm-hmm. and that's always kind of been my passion. I mean, I love talking. The emotional element of talking to a business owner, and seeing what they built and helping them kind of fulfill their dreams is emotionally rewarding. Being able to drive down a street and see a building that wasn't there, mm-hmm. and that I helped someone give money to build, and then now it's like a monument, and now it's always there. To me, that's why I love commercial real estate.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And now your role is more encompassing of other functions and operations in the bank. So thank you for sharing about how you've that career path. But what are some of those pivotal moments in your career that has really shaped the leader and your leadership style of who you are today?
The Great Financial Crisis. Mm. I think that was the most pivotal, it as well as probably the most educational, because until there's real world application, you don't really know what you know, or know what you don't know. And that was a scenario in which, especially in the loan documentation side and understanding how the legal process evolves, and then also dealing with people in duress. I mean, up until that point, I don't think I had a loan that went bad. Mm. And then I spent, it felt like every loan in the portfolio was going bad. I was having hard conversations on a daily basis, which then made me understand be a lot more empathetic, and then just don't have fear of giving people bad news. And I think from that perspective, both dealing with clients, but then also dealing with colleagues and employees, having a relationship where it's like you need to have hard conversations and you need to be okay with that. That has been just a tremendous value that I never want to go through it again. I mean, we'll have another cycle at some point in time, hopefully not as severe, but that was great. And then I've picked up stuff just from leaders along the way that are both good and bad, and you incorporate those things. And whether it's in the bank or in the community, you just kind of pick and choose who you want to be and how you want to approach life.
Definitely. So I'm going to get on the relationship piece for just a little bit more because, when you
and me relationship or
no, your work relationship, because when you transitioned over to being the market president for Pinellas County, you were new to Pinellas County. I mean, we worked in Pinellas County, but as a leader, and so how did you really ingrain yourself? Because now when people, in the community, they just think you live in Pinellas County, like you are Pinellas County. So share more about how you did that, like in building these strong relationships and all of these leadership roles that you now, and then the impact that you're having in the county.
I love that. And I will share that the bank had wanted me to move to St. Pete. When they asked me to take the position, and we talked about it, and we're like, yeah, let's go.
I love St. Pete.
Yeah, but okay, we have kids in school.
Yes.
We just bought a house. Like the market, and for those that know, especially in the Tampa Bay market, more so than others, I mean, COVID was a game changer in terms of commercial real estate values. I mean, our house, it value increased like 40% within like a 3-year period of time. So, I mean, there was the ability to transition and move would have been, a financial hardship too. And so my argument is like, I'm 15 miles away. That bridge is only like 7 or 8 miles. Like I will be there. And then I also kind of recognizing it's a little bit of a unique situation. I mean, Pinellas County and Hillsborough County may as well be 2 states. It is kind of wild, and there's some overlap, and things are getting better as new people are moving to the area, and people are losing, some of that patriarchalness that existed. But for me, it was just kind of doing what both of us do, like being visible, just showing up, being present, being invested in the community. Any organization that I join, I'm not joining just to have my my name on a list. I want to make a difference. I want to leave it better than how I arrived. Right. So I think just showing up, adding value, asking questions, being invested in the community. And when you do that, people see the value they're bringing and they want to pull you in. You ask, the old adage is, you ask busy people to get things done, and they'll find a way to get it done.
Yes.
I think it's true.
That's awesome. Well, we're both that way. So,
yes. You can relate.
Yes, I can. Well, within the Bank of Tampa, just beyond just the transactions and the day-to-day of the operations, a lot of what this brand and this bank is known for is the strong culture and the strong relationships. And so how do you think about culture and mentorship and the long game of leadership within this organization?
I think, so as I've progressed in my career, I now fully appreciate like how valuable culture is. Mm-hmm. Like when I was younger, it was all about, hey, I just want to make money. I want to work at a stable company where there's opportunity, but I want to make money. Now that I'm older in a leadership position, I recognize how strong and how important it is to have a strong culture. And what I do truly appreciate about the Bank of Tampa, we are trying to preserve the legacy that Jerry Divers built, mm-hmm. that Bill West built upon, and that's just being a hometown community bank, being invested in the community. His philosophy was always, this is Jerry's. You take care. It's getting away from kind of Milton Friedman when we're always concerned about the investors and kind of flipping the pyramid. It is making sure employees are taken care of and our employees are happy. If they're happy, they will take care of the customers. The customers are happy. The bank will grow. It will grow organically, and then the investors will be taken care of. And so that's, when you come to the bank, we try to make it feel like a family. Mm-hmm. We're not perfect. Families have issues. But just really try to invest in our people, as well as understanding that the banking landscape is changing, and then we need to evolve and adapt in order to make sure that we are relevant. And the bank is around for another 40 years.
Absolutely. So you work in a field that blends relationships, risk, and regional growth. What have you learned about navigating all three, especially as Tampa Bay continues to expand?
These are tough questions.
What did you expect?
Some softballs.
No.
I guess we got those up front.
Yes.
I would tie it into, the way I've been successful in my career is always be learning, be a lifelong learner, being willing and hopefully earning in a lot of way.
Yes.
Being flexible and being willing to adapt and not being so rooted in your opinions or whatever direction you've taken, because life shifts at a moment, the economy shifts at a moment. People, it's just, people pass away, people get divorced. We have real economic swings. The interest rate environment changes. All of a sudden we have tariffs. And just being able to be nimble and flexible, I think is key. And then, I actually, I will take this from you, but emotional intelligence. I think as I've grown older and realized as I'm interacting with people, me too, need to approach things differently and need to be open-minded and not be so rooted in my own opinions. But the ability to, have a good business deal, have a conversation with an employee, and it's so much more productive when both of you are approaching it with and higher emotional intelligence.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. So what would the money market Owen now tell 22-year-old Owen just starting out in his career?
I guess just be patient. I was really impatient, and everybody wants everything immediately, and probably even more so now. Everything's at Amazon culture, right? Everything's at our fingertips, and there's a lot of young leaders in the community that have a sense of being entitled, and I don't know that I felt entitled, but I know I was frustrated by the lack of progress. I thought it'd be quicker and easier.
Don't you think that kind of lack of patience may be also attributed to you just continuing to drive and be successful?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, there's that too. All right. Well, we have, we've talked a lot about your background and your leadership journey, but it wouldn't be the money market without talking about the market. So if we could shift to talking about where things stand and where they're headed, we want to hear about, your thoughts and your expertise. You are the LinkedIn Economist, right?
Yes, I am.
I love it when people call you that. So can you tell me?
By the way, I didn't come up with that for the record.
I know you didn't. You didn't. No, I
did, but some people have teased me, and actually I have owned it because I had I do this whole cardboard sign thing.
Yes.
Banker with sign.
Yes.
I said, one of my signs I held up, it said, I don't even know what you do, because there's a lot of entertaining positions that people have. Like one that comes to mind was Dragon Slayer. I'm like, all right, come on. I'm like, funny. What do you do?
What is right?
What do you do? I don't know what you do. But no, so then someone said, okay, LinkedIn Economist.
Yes.
No, Will Womble, who was moderating a panel that I was on, introduced me as the LinkedIn Economist. And so I'm like, that's going on my LinkedIn page today. So,
well, whenever I run into somebody and they ask about you, I would say 75% of the time, they're going to tell me, I really love following him on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
They love your content on LinkedIn.
It's a nice compliment. Thank you.
So let's talk about the market. So what industries are driving economic growth in Tampa Bay, and how might that evolve in the next 10 years?
So what a lot of people really don't associate with Tampa Bay market is tech. So we've got a great tech scene that's burgeoning and building a lot of momentum. Healthcare, biotech. Of course, we have kind of our standard, the tourism industry is a big driver. The port is a tremendous benefit to the area. But, real estate finance, they're always going to play a big role in this community because we're a growth economy. But, I think our tech scene is it's primed.
That's awesome.
And healthcare.
Yes. So you talked about housing and residential housing, and want to talk about housing affordability, because that's a big challenge in our region.
Yes.
Can you share a little bit about what are affordable options? What is happening in the market right now in Tampa Bay?
Well, you're not going to like my answer. But I think, I mean, it really does. Like supply and demand works, like basic economics. And gosh, we were having this conversation at Leadership Florida with someone.
Yes.
And thankfully, I finally like have a recent example of we just need more supply.
Yeah.
And we need more supply of every type. And it's okay if we get more luxury. Like nobody wants to see luxury. Everybody rolls their eyes. It's expensive, but it creates an opportunity for people to move up. I will say this, and people have criticized this point of view before because I'm just like, man, build, baby, build. Do it thoughtfully, but we need to get rid of a lot of the regulations that prevent building and the density that has been improved in the land use plan. We are undersupplied. We need more homes. We've had a ton of people move here after COVID. We've got great population growth. We don't have enough places to put people, so property prices increase. No developers going into this thinking, I'm just going to overbuild, because all those luxury builders are now having to reduce their price, reduce their rents. But it gives people like in that B class, the ability to move up, because now you have vacancies. They have to fill those places and everyone is able to move up. So yeah, I mean, building too much supply is going to bring down values, and Austin is the perfect case study for it. There's a lot of markets within the Sun Belt specifically that overbuilt, and they're seeing rents reduce and they're seeing home prices come down. We just need more supply.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you.
Okay.
No, absolutely.
I felt like one time you're like, it's not that easy.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't, well, not that I don't want to see any market fall, but finally I was like, look at Austin.
Yes.
Austin overbuilt.
Yes. So getting back to the Tampa Bay market again, what are you seeing as far as business lending, local investment, and commercial growth right now?
Yeah, I think it's slowed. This year has been particularly challenging, and I call it schizophrenic.
Yeah.
Because I think going into 2025, there was this big kind of push that everybody was excited because of the new president and less regulation and more economically favorable. But then there was also this like, hey, we know tariffs are coming. We saw the first administration, the first Trump 1.0. We saw it then. So there was this big push to like, hey, I need to get ahead of all this. So lending was really robust in, kind of the fourth quarter. Then the year started. Then we had Liberation Day. That really caused. So people want certainty. In order to make investments in anything, there needs to be some certainty. And just given the environment, a lot of people were postponing any major big financial decisions just because they want a little clarity in market. And then things kind of stabilize and then they come out. So, I mean, I think loan growth it's been good. It's just been very spotty. And I think it's just because of all the chaos and uncertainty in the markets.
Okay. So something else that is kind of, newer and maybe also people don't really know like what to expect in the future, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think about AI and what impact that's going to have on the banking industry.
Oh, the banking industry specifically.
Yes,
because AI in general, I think it's going to make us better, more efficient, live longer, and then it's going to kill us. That's my progression.
Okay. As you're making Terminator memes of your headshot.
I mean, it's real. I mean, that's why we named Connor after my mom, who was trying to raise me as John Connor growing up.
Oh goodness.
Which I am grateful for. I mean, she was pushed me to do great things.
Yes.
Everybody is trying to figure out exactly how best to use AI. I think in many industries, including banking, we're understaffed and we don't have a lot of skilled staff. We went through a period of time specifically in banking where we didn't train bankers for 20 years. And so we're playing catch up. And especially like if you look at a true credit underwriting role, like a lot of our underwriters are in their 40s, maybe probably a little older, because we just didn't train. No, I mean, there is a gap. We've trained, but there is kind of like a missing middle. Like there is in housing, there's a missing middle in banking specifically. So I think AI is going to help fill some of that gap. It'll make us more efficient, allow better use of data analytics and mining, how we can better serve our clients. And then, there will be there's already automation on the consumer side. Commercials, every deal is unique. So I think it will help, at least in the interim stage, being able to get us a little further along, but you'll still need that human element to to come in and kind of make some final decisions and tweak things. But so I think that's kind of the interim step. But yeah, I am really excited about AI, and then think it's going to find out one day that we're not useful.
Well, that's an awfully dystopian negative view. I'm hoping for better than that. But very interesting to hear about the automation piece. I definitely think that that's going to make things, process easier. So, speaking about the future again, what are your thoughts on the future of banking more broadly?
That one's tough. There's been a tremendous amount of consolidation in the industry there used to be 14,000 banks. Now we're under 4,000, I think the number is. Wow. So a lot of consolidation in the industry. I think we'll continue to see a lot more of that. A lot more of it will go towards automation and fintech. I think things will. I think it's inevitably we're moving that way. Personally, what I like about the Bank of Tampa is we're imploring a lot of those technologies, but we're still trying to focus on the relationship and the human piece, because I think there's always going to be there's a desire for humans to interact. And big banks, which will continue to do bigger, they have a tremendous amount of value within, and ITs and not the big banks, because there's some things that they don't do well. There's a lot of things they do incredibly well. Their technology is amazing. Their money movement's amazing. Obviously they deal with just enormous sums of money that help fuel the economy and the larger industries in the country. But when you want to have a conversation with someone that's like, I really just don't understand, and ChatGPT doesn't give you necessarily the answer that you want, being able to sit down to talk to somebody that understands where you're at from a personal financial standpoint, or where you're at from a business standpoint, I just think we can't lose that. We've got to preserve. We have to be able to do both. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the difference between AI as well. Like that personal relationship is critically important. That was a good tie-in. Yeah. Well, so, I'd also like to ask you, because you've talked a lot about the Tampa Bay market and all of these dynamics impacting it right now. It is very dynamic. What do you see for the Tampa Bay market over the next 5 to 10 years? So there is this theory, like in the 2030s, that we're going to have a depression. So I like to think that's not the case. I'll take the glass half full. Yeah. We do have a couple challenges we need to address. Mm-hmm. This is an amazing market. It is. The people are fantastic. It's got great history, and I know we've got a lot of transplants, but this is a community that opens your arms. And so we've opened our arms to a lot of different people. We're a very diverse economy. Lifestyle is tremendous. So our business environment, the tax environment in Florida is all very business friendly. So we've benefited from all that inflow. The challenge with that is there's growth problems. Mm-hmm. So affordable housing is a big issue. Transportation is a big issue. We have to be able to move people around. Yeah. Education is a challenge. So, I think we need to have a serious conversation as a community and not be so divided. We need a regional transit organization. That has to happen. You can't have 26 different municipalities in Pinellas County and 3 in Hillsborough and try to come together and have some kind of regional plan. Everyone just gets pulled. So to have one organization that can help coordinate all of that, I think is a necessity. And then we need to find a way to. People have to live. They need affordable housing, and we can't keep robbing the coffers of affordable housing, and find ways to build more. And whether it's ancillary dwelling units or just maximizing the density we have in places that we want density. We need to let it happen. Absolutely. But I'm encouraged. Good. Yeah. Good. I love Tampa Bay. I do too. Yeah. All right, we've covered a lot. Leadership, markets, Tampa Bay that we love, and maybe a little bit a love story about our relationship. Thank you for letting me flip the script today and take you off the mic and put you in the hot seat, and for bringing your usual clarity, your humility, and your thoughtful perspective to the other side of the conversation today. Well, thank you, and thank you to my marketing team for suggesting you, and there's no better person to do this, so. I hope I did okay and lived up to. I know I'm not nearly as good as Owen in this. I don't know. They may vote me out. No. You're wearing, for those that are just listening. You do have Bank of Tampa colors on, black and gold. I tried. That's good. I like to try to align with the brand. That's good. I love the Bank of Tampa.
Well, the money market has become a space for meaningful dialogue about leadership and industry trends and the future of our region. And that is truly a testament to the care and the consistency behind every episode that you all put together. So thank you for bringing this great resource to our community. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us for this special conversation. You can find the Money Market Podcast and the Bank of Tampa online on LinkedIn, X, Facebook, and Instagram. And before you go, make sure you hit that like, follow, or subscribe button and share this episode with a friend or colleague. And we'll be sure to see you around in the Money Market.